Hi, my name is Jessica Torgerson, and these are my ideas on how I would manage my classroom as a first year teacher. These are some of my beliefs about how a classroom should be managed. Getting to know my students both academically and socially is very important. I need to know my students academically so I know what to teach them. I need to know my students personally so that I know how to teach them. Knowing them in all aspects of their lives just leads to a more well rounded experience for the teacher and the student. Getting to know parents and families is equally as important so that I can start a positive relationship with them. This strategy will just make addressing any problems with a student easier to handle when parents need to get involved. It will also encourage parents to want to help out in the classroom. Another belief is having fairly strict routines. Having routines allows for good classroom flow and it will help reduce behavior problems. Going along with routines is having set expectations that are written by both myself and the students. I believe expectations should be one of the first things done on the first day. Having students write their own expectations also just holds them accountable for making bad decisions. And having a positive attitude in the classroom is something that I believe should always be a part of the classroom. If I have a positive attitude, then it will motivate and encourage students to do well. Connecting content to real life is the final belief I will discuss. It is important because it makes learning relevant and more interesting. If students know that there's a purpose, then they will want to learn the content. And here are a few of the things that I will have in my own classroom. I will have routines that are followed every normal school day. They will be modeled by me, first by me, and then by my students. And my students will practice them every day as part of the daily routine. I would also like to have monthly seat changes, maybe more, because I think changing seats allows for less chaos. It gives students a chance to get to know and work with everyone in the class. It also gives students something to look forward to if they don't like where they are sitting. I also want flexible seating because it reduces fidgeting. It would be nice to have some standing tables, some normal tables, and some tables where students have to sit on the floor. Flexible seating just gives some variation from regular desks. Another thing that I will have is a regular signal, such as wind chimes or a bell, to get attention. Having a regular signal just sets another routine for the students. I will also be writing all assignments on a designated board so that there won't be any excuses or confusion regarding what is due. Morning meetings is one thing that I will always have. I think they are important because it gives students time to share, greet each other, and learn what the agenda for the day is. And finally, I will include having choice time in the schedule. This would be for older students to do homework or read, and if I had younger students, this would be when they have playtime. And those are just some of the crucial things that I want to have in my own classroom someday. And here are my thoughts on rewards. I think that I will have rewards in my classroom. And I think that when students go out of their way to do something, then they should be able to be rewarded for it. For example, if students read a certain number of hours at home per week, they will get some type of reward, while the students who only read the required amount wouldn't get anything extra. Some positive things that go along with rewards are motivation for good behavior and to do homework well. If they get a reward for always having good behavior for the week, then they will think more before acting out. They will also want to turn in completed homework if they just get something as simple as a sticker. Some negatives that come along with rewards are that students will start to do things only for the reward instead of just out of the good intention. They may also lose all interest in the content and just go through the motions to get work done. Overall, I think the positive aspects outweigh the negatives, so I will use rewards in my own classroom. So my behavior management style is, for the most part, is rules and consequences. I like to have set rules in place, and if they are not followed, then there are consequences. I will always disclose what a consequence would be for breaking a rule, and they will get one warning before the consequence occurs. I like the concept of having a behavior chart so students can visually see if they are on the verge of consequence or not. I am also a teacher who likes to shut down disruptions right away instead of ignoring them and allowing them to happen. I like a fairly strict and well-behaved classroom and don't tolerate any type of yelling. I would like to include parents in my classroom as much or as little as they want to be involved. If they want to be included a lot, then that's great. And if they don't care to be included, then that is fine too. At the beginning of the school year, I will send home a get to know you letter for parents to fill out some information and return it. I will also allow an open dialogue and ask for any suggestions they may have for the year or for me. Throughout the year, I will try and send out weekly newsletters, or at the very least monthly newsletters, to update parents on what is happening in the class. I will also ask for any volunteers that want to come in and help with cleaning, parties, maybe some light testing, just a lot of things like that. Updating parents on schoolwork is something else I will do upon request if they want it outside of conferences and report cards. For inclusion for all students in my classroom, these are a few of the strategies I will use. I will have daily jobs for students such as line leader, caboose, someone who hands out worksheets, and other etc. Not every student will have a job each day, but they will periodically and systematically, so every student will at least get a job once a month. I will also take interest inventories so that I can figure out what students are interested in and include those interests in some assignments. I want to make the assignments relative to them. Having sharing time in the morning meetings will also help to get students to feel included and listened to. Having all students being greeted by either me or other students will also help to make everyone feel welcomed in the classroom. I also want to have a lot of small group discussions. That is because it allows students to feel comfortable sharing their ideas without having to worry about saying the wrong answer to the whole class. I think having small discussions will allow students to get more comfortable sharing their ideas. And the last strategy I will talk about are equity sticks, which I got from a reading that we did in the class. And they are just popsicle sticks with students' names on them. I would use those to call in students and make sure that everyone gets a chance to answer a question instead of the same students answering over and over again. And because I want to make sure that students are comfortable sharing their ideas in front of the class. If they do not know the answer that they're asked, they're welcome to pass, and their stick will be put back in the bin with the students who haven't been asked a question yet. And overall, these are just some of the strategies that I will use to help manage my future classroom.